Comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I've bought in the big guns now to train my son. He had a jiu-jitsu tournament over the weekend and he got submitted real fucking quick and I wasn't happy with it. I'm like, that's enough of that. That is enough of that. He gets so fucking nervous and so scared before the fucking fights. He's good at jiu-jitsu, I know. I see him wrestle all the time. I watched him on fucking Friday. Competition class. He's wrestling like 14-year-olds and shit, and he's doing great. He gets to the fucking tournament, and he's just so nervous. And in the match, he was up against someone really good, though. The kid was fucking good. I watched his next match, and he just pulled exactly the same move. He grabbed him, swung him to the ground, pulled guard, and then slipped on a fucking triangle. And he did it to the next kid as well. He did that to my son. He just did it so fast that it wasn't enough time to react. He got his ass handed to him. But I was like, that's enough of that. So the last week, I've been speaking to this guy at work. So there's two Algerians at my work. And I don't know if you know the Algerian reputation. They're psychopaths. So there's two, and one of them is a little bit older, and he is just a fucking punish. He's always yelling. He's always screaming. He's fucking, oh my God. He's got some serious anger issues, and I'm just like, I'm going to punch this cunt in the face one day if he doesn't shut the fuck up. And then there's this other guy, this real quiet Algerian. Just a real calm dude, a cool dude. I get along with him real well, and I just started talking to him probably about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, the difference between these two is just fucking crazy. But I get talking to him, and it turns out this guy who the calm one was the Algerian and North African fucking kickboxing champion. And I'm like, that's why he's so calm, because he can fucking... he can kill cunts. That's how you become calm. You fucking be able to kill cunts and you lose your anger. And this guy's one of the nicest dudes I've fucking met. He's such a sweet dude. And so I've been speaking to him and we've been getting to know each other quite well. Great dude. The cunt can kick metal. We're in the EWP and he's like, yeah, I've got no feeling in my shins. They're dead. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, look. And he just kicked the fucking metal side of the EWP. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And then the other day he was walking through and he's like, check this. And he just busts the splits. I'm like, all right, this guy's a psychopath. But I like it. Anyway, I've been telling him about my son and his jiu-jitsu and all that sort of stuff. And I told him that he was going to start kickboxing. And then I told him I took him down to the kickboxing and... it's not worth it. It's going to take too fucking long. There's like 40 kids there. It's 40 minutes a day and you're spending half the time on the ground just waiting for the other cunt to hit the pads. And like if I took him there every fucking second day for 2 or 3 years, he might learn something. And that's not even guaranteed because I looked at the bigger kids as well and half of them were uncoordinated retards. So I was telling the Algerian guy about this and he was like disgusted. He's like, no, don't do that. He's like, I'll come train your son. I'm like, are you sure? I'll give you money if you want to. Like start a business or something. I'll pay. He's like, no, I'll come. I'll make him a champion. I'll teach him how to be a champion. I'm like, yes, that's what I fucking want. And so he came around yesterday. And he's like, I'm not going to do any boxing or kickboxing today. We're going to strengthen him up and we're going to make him into a champion. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And he comes over and he gets my son in the room and he starts telling him, he's like, to be a champion is different than knowing how to do kickboxing. It's a completely different thing. And then he gets my son, he's like, punch. And I taught my son to put the hands up to guard himself and punch. So that's what he did. And this guy, the Algerian's like, no. Champions attack first. They never think about the defense first. They attack. He's like, don't worry about defense. You attack. Attack is your first priority. You hit the person first. And that's exactly what I want him to do in jiu-jitsu as well. I'm like, fuck this timid bullshit, because he's the same timid in the tournaments as he was when he first started jiu-jitsu. So I think it's just an adjustment period. But I was like, nah, he needs self-confidence. He needs to think he's going to fucking smash cunts. That's the only way this is going to turn around. He's also just turned 8. But this Algerian guy, he started training when he was 8. He actually lost his father when he was, I think, 7. And somehow he knew that he needed to do something. So he started training at 7 or 8 after his dad passed away. And it just so happens his dad was Maori as well, New Zealand Maori. And his mum's Algerian. And he grew up in Algeria. So he's like half Maori, half Algerian, which is a deadly combination. Anyway, he came over and he's like, we're going to go old school with your son. We're going to condition him. We're going to condition his neck, his wrists, his ankles, his knees. We're going to kill the nerves in his shins. We're gonna build him into a champion. And I'm like, yes, this is what we need. And he's like, even if you don't want to do kickboxing, even if you don't want to compete, you're gonna be a killer. And I'm like, great. This is exactly what kids need. They need a crazy Algerian to condition them. Fucking don't worry about your Xbox and your fucking Roblox or whatever the fuck the kids are playing these days. Let's get a sandbag and a fucking rough stick for their shins and kill those nerves. This is how you make fucking savages. But my son's up for it somehow. I don't know how. He even got up this morning and started doing the wrist conditioning that my mate was telling him to do. So that's all in the works. My son's getting trained by a legit dude now. And I think it's 2 hours every Sunday, which is better than fucking this bullshit down at the kickboxing thing. He's gonna be sorted. So I'm happy about that. It will fucking flow on to the rest of the things he wants to do as well. When I say he wants to do, I mean I'm forcing him to do. Anyway, that's that. It's Monday. I've got an RDO today, rostered day off. So I've just fucking chilled the fuck out today. I've got energy. I'm excited. And you know what time it is? It's Ask Boyle time. So if you have a question you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation or any generation, then, oh no, I forgot. Comedian, philosopher, crane driver, waterproofer, Le Boyle, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Ask Boyle. Put your question in, put your details in, and send it off. While you're there, write me in a Fucked Up Friday. We need some Fucked Up Fridays coming in. It's just next to the Ask Boyle, or it's somewhere there. Put your details in, send me a story. And while you're there, again, we've got fucking the Patreon. The Patreon's on fire. We've got some waterproofing tips coming every other day at the moment. And we've got the Degeni Diaries every week. The Degeni Diaries have been great. Everyone's loving it. It's kind of like AA. People get to tell their stories virtually anonymously. Anyway, join the fucking Patreon. It's £1 a month. And yeah, it really fucking, it means the world to me. Anyway, let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by my man, the fucking myth, the legend, Bobby the Sturge Sturgeon. And this is Bobby Boy's question. Boyle, I'm thinking of getting a hair transplant. As a fellow follically challenged man, would you consider a hair transplant? I'm married with a kid, just like you, so it's not about getting the ladies. It's just for me. All me. Ha 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 ha. Well, bad boy Bobby, you have come to the right place. Of course, I've thought about getting a hair transplant. I've looked into it. I haven't delved that deep. I've been looking into it for quite a long time. I remember, well, I don't remember that well, but at some point when I was living in Sydney last time, so it was over 12 years ago or something, in my 20s, I was looking at advanced hair, yeah. I just put in my details and I was like, oh, just speak to them. My hair wasn't even fucking bad then. But I saw the road ahead and I was just like, maybe I'll get out in front of this. And I was in the middle of something one day. I was surrounded by people or girls or friends or whatever. And I got a fucking phone call. And usually I don't pick up strange numbers, but I picked it up and they're like, hi, this is Beth from Advanced Hair. How are you? I'm like, oh, nah, I'm all good. And she goes, oh, has your hair grown back? Because I was too embarrassed to fucking let anyone on or let anyone know what the fuck the phone call was about. I didn't want to speak there. And I was like, yes, it's grown back. Thank you, Beth. So yes, I have thought about it and I know where you do it. You go to Turkey. Turkey's the place for hair transplants. They take it from your balls and they put it directly on your skull. No, they just take it from the side, they pluck it out, you go under general anesthetic and they put it on the top of your skull. You do it in Turkey because I think it's like fucking 10 cents a hair or something like that. And you got to do like 5 or 10,000 hairs and you got to do a few sessions. In Australia, it's like $1 a hair. It's like, fuck you. And there's no guarantees either. Like your skull isn't real fertile ground if you're losing hair anyway. So there's no guarantee it's even going to fucking take hold. I've seen a couple work real good and I was like, fuck, that would be nice. Like long, luscious, good fucking hairline hair. And I've seen some not work and it doesn't look good. It just looks like pubes. It does look like pubes. So it's a mixed bag. I came to the conclusion that I wouldn't look after my hair. So like I can't even put onion oil in my hair like every day for a month. I can't put fucking rosemary oil in my hair for like longer than a week. I just forget about it. I'm too lazy. I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't give a fuck about my hair that much. Not enough to do anything about it. So I was like, if I don't have the fucking willpower to put onion juice in my hair every day, then how am I going to fucking protect these these very fragile hairs that have been implanted against their will? And then that just gives you something else to worry about. You're like, oh no, is it going to fall out? Like, I don't need anything else. I'm not that vain. Like, I'm relatively vain, but not excessively vain. And I just don't think, in my case anyway, because I do have a good head. I don't even think I have a good head. It's passable. But I think as you get a little bit older, I don't think the hair matters. If you can fucking sort your rig out, if you can get a tight rig and look healthy and just shave your head to like 1, don't go full bald. If you can have like a 3 o'clock shadow on your fucking head, you're going to look better than like 98% of the dudes your age anyway. A fat slob with hair doesn't look as good as a fucking in shape, healthy looking bald cunt. Wear nice clothes as well. You can fucking make up some good ground if you're a bald dude by buying some nice clothes that fit well against your fucking sick rig. You know what I mean? If you're going to be vain in a healthy way. Don't be vain in something that's going to make you weaker. That makes you weaker. I feel like that destroys part of you. Like, what's the difference between that and getting like an eye lift or plastic surgery or something like that? Do you see anyone who's getting plastic surgery feeling better about themselves, or do they just constantly fucking want to tinker with shit? Some people feel better about themselves, but they've got problems anyway. For me, I just feel like it's better that I work on things that I can control, like my diet, my exercise, the nutrients I take in. I can fucking shave my head down to like, if I do a 2, it gives off the impression that I've just like cut it short and I could grow it out at any point, which I can't. As soon as it hits a 3 or a 4, people are like, oh, that cunt's bald. But if I have it at a 2, they're like, oh, that guy's just chosen that hairstyle. I used to do a joke. I used to have to shave my head. This is when I first started comedy, because I knew I was going bald then, and I didn't really have any jokes. So I did this joke one time when I shaved my head. I was like, the hairdresser asked me what style I'd like. I'm like, style? Just give me the number 2, cunt. Style? The number 2 isn't a style. You don't choose the number 2. The number 2 chooses you. The way I'm going, I'm going to have to bring that back, to be honest with you. That's not too bad. I'm going to have to go back to shaving my head every fucking gig. I did that for a long time. I shaved my head before a gig so I could do that joke. That's how hard up I was for material at one point. Anyway, I don't think it's fucking worth it. I mean, if there were guarantees, if I could just go, boom, you just go in for one sesh, it's all going to hit. It's going to be like your fucking 18-year-old hair. You don't have to do anything extra, just this one thing, and you get your hair back. I would do it, yes. But I think there's a lot of bullshit involved. You got to worry about it. You got to fucking fly to Turkey. You got to wear a hat because your head's just covered in fucking dried up blood for like 3 weeks. There's a lot going on. But you go do it and you tell me how it is, and then maybe I will do it. Anyway, fucking Bobby, I hope that fucking helped. That'll do for today, and I'll see you the fuck later.